Today we're gonna talk about movement and how to draw movement. I have made a couple of guys here running, and there are different poses for running. Some are more comedical, some are more serious, some are more light jogging and stuff like that. So let's take a look at the first character here. As you can see, his leg is straight up and bent in the back, and you can see the arms really pushing the typical running motion. So this is kind of like a in between, a kind of serious but also comedic kind of pose for running. And as you can see, you always put like if you have the right arm here up, then the left leg is forward. And vice versa. If the right leg is forward, then the left arm is gonna be forward. So that's the kind of, let's call it middle serious pose. Now here you have a more kind of starting to run, or maybe got interrupted while running. It's kind of like how you draw something is always depending on what is the moment you're trying to catch. Is it someone running at their best speed? Yeah, okay, then maybe you should try and avoid certain poses because it doesn't look like they're running. This is a more confused, I'm gonna call it confused state of running, because you don't know really, because they haven't gone into kind of full sprint. But you can see the front leg is like this could be a little bit bent, and you can see here how the body is more fluid and more correct than the middle one, because you can see here I'm using straight lines, kind of like a more comedic kind of posing. Here it's more trying to get the serious pose, but you can see it's not quite there. It's kind of like they're either jogging or they're just starting to run. Now this is the comic or the comedic running. This is kind of like when you have someone who is like, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit, someone's after me, oh dear lord, oh dear lord. And that's the leaning back. The body is leaning back, one of the legs is really high up and the other one is like this. And you probably have the character running with the shadow underneath like this, and you're trying to, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. So this is truly the comedic kind of running, because you can see how no one would run like this. This is usually done in more like web comics or comic strips where there's humor and you're trying to make a point that the character is like, oh shit, I'm in over my head, and trying to run away. And then we get to the serious kind of running. Now remember, all of these are not just how you should do it. This is my take on just movement and how you can interpret the running motion that we all have, but also trying to see where does it get serious and where does it doesn't look like they're running. And you can see here now the body is leaning forward. It means momentum forward. We have one of the legs bent and the other one straight because we're standing on the tip of our toes. We have one arm bent, the other one a little bit more behind, because now it's really, you know, the arm movement going forward, and he's taking big steps running forward. So this is the more serious pose where he's really trying to go forward by leaning the body forward. And as you can see, you get some kind of ideas on how the bodies are used. You can see here, I can almost put faces on it because you get how serious or how comedic or confused or in the middle these kind of characters are. So this is something that you have to think about when you're drawing movement, any kind of movement. And I will do more of these videos trying to talk about, you know, movement, when is it best to do a certain pose, or why does this not work and why does this work. Because movement is kind of hard, because when you're drawing something, you're capturing one image. It's a moment in time. It's kind of like when you see photos of someone running. Why, for example, cameramen, they take a lot of photos in one shot, because they know that they can get a confused image in between the serious running and then they get this, because not every frame does look good if you just pick that frame. So it's important to know which frame are you gonna pick, which frame works with your art, what frame works what you have in your vision of the art. So sometimes you have to realize that, okay, maybe you do this middle one and you realize, it doesn't look serious enough. Okay, maybe change it up, try different things, maybe use some reference. And there are a lot of ways of running. I'm not saying these are the 4 only types. No, I'm just doing these so you can see how much and how little it changes when you do changes to the running pose. I mean, for instance, you have the Naruto pose when they're running with their body pretty much leaning and running like this. And then they have their arms kind of back, just to show that they're running so fast that it kind of goes like this. And you get the sense of speed that they're going forward. Now that's the Naruto kind of running. So you can see there are different ways of doing it. Maybe you could take the serious one and put the arms behind like Naruto and do it like that. But just think about movement. What is it that you want to do? For instance, I use pretty much not these two. I don't really use the middle or the confused one, but I do use these two. For serious running, of course, then I use this, and sometimes I just crop the image so you can't see the whole body. When I want to do something comedic and the character is running from a monster, from a problem, of course, then I use the comedic one. And I try to do various, versions of it. So I hope you have learned something from this, and try to find the movement that works for you or works for the vision of the art that you had. Is it a more comedic, is it more serious, or is it something completely else? Because, like I said, there are a lot of ways to draw running, but you have to realize, when do you capture that running motion so you get the best frame, the best pose for that. So I hope you learned something today, and I will see you in the next tutorial video. Bye!